Keegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch.
From everyone here at Odden Charlet.
And on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch.
From our family to yours.
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
Thank you for choosing beef.
Dave Haler Automotive cares, and we're open and here to serve you, our loyal customers, with free pickup and delivery of your service vehicle, or if you're in the market for something new, we've got some great incentives from Chevrolet and Buick. Shop our classic car showroom, Highway 12 Classics. Visit our newly redesigned website, give us a call, shoot us an email or a text, whatever it takes. From our floor to your door, it's that easy. Dave Haler Automotive, East Highway 12 in Webster, on the web, halerauto.com.
What if we said a bank isn't a place to lock up money? It's a place to set it free. What if the point of banking wasn't to bank at all, but to put your ideas to work? What if your bank asked, what if, a little more? Well, what if we told you we do? We're American Bank and Trust, where what if meets why not? If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. What if you made the move today?
Webster Scale Incorporated, a fourth-generation family-owned and operated business, is a proud sponsor of Bearcat TV, as well as the original sponsor. WSI supports our community and youth by sponsoring youth activities, partnering with local school districts, sponsoring Build Dakota scholarships, and offering flexible employment. We believe the youth is our future. To learn more or apply for an exciting career, visit websterscale.com. Good luck to all area athletes, and as a couple of wise men once told us, always give it 110%, and winning isn't everything, but wanting to is.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
Every farm is unique, but all farmers have something in common: the desire to maximize their land and improve it for the next generation. You need a cooperative that offers peace of mind. AgTegra Cooperative is an ag partner that shares your values and is part of your community. From agronomy and grain operations to energy and feed, AgTegra will link your farm to the future. AgTegra Cooperative. Strong, stable, dependable.
Black Hills State University provides the opportunity to explore careers with more than 125 programs of study. With quality programs and passionate faculty, you can find the path to a career of your dreams. While exploring academic options, find adventure that awaits for you in the beautiful wilderness surrounding Spearfish. Get involved in one of the many clubs on campus. Learn to lead and gain the knowledge that puts you above the rest. Apply now at bhsu.edu.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories is just a way of life. It's good to be home. Agraria Insurance Company, protecting what's important in life. Contact your local Agraria Insurance Company agent.
At Northern State University, your future starts with an affordable education that's personalized for you. Experience hands-on learning guided by world-class supportive faculty. You'll also enjoy a full campus life with opportunities to choose from numerous student activities and events, all in a safe, welcoming community. At Northern, you'll find a college that's right for you, a place to belong. Your future starts here. Unleash your potential at Northern.
With industry-leading warranties. Our years of experience and our extensive in-house engineering and manufacturing capabilities allow us to control specifications, drive on-time delivery, and provide today's advanced solutions to tomorrow's demands. Someday I'll own a Marine Johnson. Marine Johnson. Leading technology, lasting performance.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch,
From everyone here at Odden Charlet,
And on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch,
from our family to yours,
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
thank you for choosing beef.
Dave Haler Automotive cares, and we're open and here to serve you, our loyal customers, with free pickup and delivery of your service vehicle, or if you're in the market for something new, we've got some great incentives from Chevrolet and Buick. Shop our classic car showroom, Highway 12 Classics. Visit our newly redesigned website, give us a call, shoot us an email or a text, whatever it takes. From our floor to your door, it's that easy. Dave Haler Automotive, East Highway 12 in Webster, on the web, halerauto.com.
What if we said a bank isn't a place to lock up money? It's a place to set it free. What if the point of banking wasn't to bank at all, but to put your ideas to work? What if your bank asked, what if, a little more? Well, what if we told you we do? We're American Bank and Trust, where what if meets why not? If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. What if you made the move today?
Webster Scale Incorporated, a fourth-generation family-owned and operated business, is a proud sponsor of Bearcat TV, as well as the original sponsor. WSI supports our community and youth by sponsoring youth activities, partnering with local school districts, sponsoring Build Dakota scholarships, and offering flexible employment. We believe the youth is our future. To learn more or apply for an exciting career, visit websterscale.com. Good luck to all area athletes, and as a couple of wise men once told us, always give it 110%, and winning isn't everything, but wanting to is.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
Every farm is unique, but all farmers have something in common: the desire to maximize their land and improve it for the next generation. You need a cooperative that offers peace of mind. AgTegra Cooperative is an ag partner that shares your values and is part of your community. From agronomy and grain operations to energy and feed, AgTegra will link your farm to the future. AgTegra Cooperative. Strong, stable, dependable.
Hill State University provides the opportunity to explore careers with more than 125 programs of study. With quality programs and passionate faculty, you can find the path to a career of your dreams. While exploring academic options, find adventure that awaits for you in the beautiful wilderness surrounding Spearfish. Get involved in one of the many clubs on campus. Learn to lead and gain the knowledge that puts you above the rest. Apply now at bhsu.edu.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories is just a way of life. It's good to be home. Agraria Insurance Company, protecting what's important in life. Contact your local Agraria Insurance Company agent.
At Northern State University, your future starts with an affordable education that's personalized for you. Experience hands-on learning guided by world-class supportive faculty. You'll also enjoy a full campus life, with opportunities to choose from numerous student activities and events, all in a safe, welcoming community. At Northern, you'll find a college that's right for you, a place to belong. Your future starts here. Unleash your potential at Northern.
With industry-leading warranties. Our years of experience and our extensive in-house engineering and manufacturing capabilities allow us to control specifications, drive on-time delivery, and provide today's advanced solutions to tomorrow's demands. Someday I'll own a Marine Johnson. Marine Johnson. Leading technology, lasting performance.
I'm Tegan Mason.
I'm Carson Hamill.
I'm Andrew Odden.
On behalf of Mason Knox Ranch.
From everyone here at Odden Charlet.
And on behalf of the Scattered Star Ranch.
From our family to yours.
From the Phillip community, I just want to say thank you.
We thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to thank you, the consumers.
We thank you for choosing beef.
Thank you for choosing beef.
Dave Haler Automotive cares, and we're open and here to serve you, our loyal customers, with free pickup and delivery of your service vehicle, or if you're in the market for something new, we've got some great incentives from Chevrolet and Buick. Shop our classic car showroom, Highway 12 Classics. Visit our newly redesigned website, give us a call, shoot us an email or a text, whatever it takes. From our floor to your door, it's that easy. Dave Haler Automotive, East Highway 12 in Webster, on the web, halerauto.com.
What if we said a bank isn't a place to lock up money? It's a place to set it free. What if the point of banking wasn't to bank at all, but to put your ideas to work? What if your bank asked, what if, a little more? Well, what if we told you we do? We're American Bank and Trust, where what if meets why not? If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. What if you made the move today?
Webster Scale Incorporated, a fourth-generation family-owned and operated business, is a proud sponsor of Bearcat TV, as well as the original sponsor. WSI supports our community and youth by sponsoring youth activities, partnering with local school districts, sponsoring Build Dakota scholarships, and offering flexible employment. We believe the youth is our future. To learn more or apply for an exciting career, visit websterscale.com. Good luck to all area athletes, and as a couple of wise men once told us, always give it 110%, and winning isn't everything, but wanting to is.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
Every farm is unique, but all farmers have something in common: the desire to maximize their land and improve it for the next generation. You need a cooperative that offers peace of mind. AgTegra Cooperative is an ag partner that shares your values and is part of your community. From agronomy and grain operations to energy and feed, AgTegra will link your farm to the future. AgTegra Cooperative. Strong, stable, dependable.
Meeting to order. Stand and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Motion to approve the agenda with the following modifications. Action item I, snow removal bid. Action item J, open enrollment. And executive session. We also need to have, in addition to personnel, we need executive session for negotiations and executive session for legal. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented with the following changes? So moved. Thanks, Marty. Second?
Second.
Thanks, Joel. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Public communications. We have with us tonight Chad Madsen. He is the Day County Emergency Management Director, correct?
EMS Director.
EMS Director. Excuse me, I'm mixing up my titles there. But he is asked to come and discuss with us tonight or present to us some ideas for an EMT program. So I'll turn it over to Chad.
So right now, Sanford Hospital is actually providing, they've got a grant that they're actually sitting there and they're trying to sit there and have high school students who are seniors to go through the EMT class. Right now they've got, right now for the spring class they had 65 students. They're coming from Brookings, Aberdeen, White River, I believe Clear Lake had some, just all over the place. And this is something that I would like to get you guys to do too. Obviously, there is an EMT shortage nationwide, and we realize that some of these kids are going to sit there and they're going to take off, but even if they leave, they're going to get a chance to go somewhere else and help out. So I'd like to do that. There is some things, like I said, I forgot the flyer tonight, so I apologize, but I can get it to some of you guys and get that over to you. But right now it's currently covered through a SAMHSA grant, and they're doing that through SAMHSA, and then Tripp County Ambulance actually is also one of the ones that's sponsoring this grant that's going on. The courses for textbooks online and that, and it's going to be covered by the state of South Dakota. They do have a thing where, so just to let you know, so if these kids decide to drop out, if they're in it and they get their school books and things like that, they're actually going to be charged a $400 charge for the books and that. But it is a good opportunity for these guys. It also, there is dual credits available. And my understanding when I was talking, Travis Spears from Sanford Hospital up in Sioux Falls, he's the one that's actually kind of in charge of this whole thing. And he says that they're running it through Southeastern Tech. So we can pay, they have to front load some of the credits and then to get it, and then it goes into, like, my understanding is there's 4 credits available. Like I said, with the flyer that I actually forgot to give you guys tonight, Travis Spears is the one that's got everything. He can sit there, his numbers on that, and he could give you everything that you want to know about it. Like I said, I'm just kind of riding his coattails on this thing. But it honestly is going to be a really good class, and when the class is going on, they're going to be reporting to the school, telling the school how these kids are doing. So, you know, there is some things that these kids actually need to realize is, number one, it's actually a very serious program. If they start going down, I mean, you could take a 4.0 student, and if he doesn't take this seriously, I mean, it could drop his grade point average. So, you know, that's one of the things that really they need to think about doing this. But like I said, going into this, there's a lot of opportunities. EMTs are shortens that. So, I mean, they can go out, probably find jobs right off the get-go, things like that. Obviously, I think you guys all know the ambulance service here in town, most of our guys are actually over 50 years old. I think we've only got 3 of them that are actually in that 30 to 40 year range. So this is one of the things that I'm actually hoping is going to help our ambulance service on top of this. But it's also going to give these guys a head start if they decide that they want to go into Lake Area Tech for the paramedic program. Southeastern Tech's got that paramedic program. Just there's a bunch of different things. So
do you mind if I just add a little bit?
Yes.
You know, when Chad and I first talked, we wanted this program in place as soon as possible, but we were also realistic in the sense that this particular school year, probably our seniors, most of them had already registered for classes last spring before this was even mentioned as an option for us. Probably did exist prior to them registering, but so we knew that this year we probably wouldn't have a lot of takers, simply because when kids get their registration done, they know what their schedule's going to be. They're, you know, unless there's really a class that they don't want to take, they're probably going to stick with that schedule. And so we anticipate hopefully some participation with this in the spring and or certainly next school year. I think there's 2 types of students we're looking for. One is going to be anybody that's looking at going into the healthcare field. Now, with that, we may be training somebody to do some things for us for a short amount of time here while they're still in college, different things like that, but eventually they may move on and not come back. The other one that we're probably looking at more primarily is those that plan to do some sort of a job here in Webster, may go to vocational school for 2 years, 1 year, something like that, and this is something they could do to fulfill here in Webster to help with our actual ambulance program. So I think that's the 2 types of kids that we're looking for. The courses itself, just so that some of our students know about this, and we'll certainly share this with anybody that has interest. It does include some Saturdays. I think there's 4 Saturdays during the semester that they would be doing this. So there is a commitment beyond your normal 40 to 50 minute class period in school. We would monitor it. I'm not sure who we'd have, but we'd have somebody that would monitor probably through our distance learning program so that we keep track of the assignments when things are due and make sure that there's regular progress. Typically, the students that sign up for these things are proven students for independent learning. And I look over here, and there's plenty of them over there. They know what we're talking about when we say independent learning. They have to be able to do a lot of the stuff on their own with a little bit of guidance. So.
Right. So, and yeah, like he did say, there is going to be 4 Saturdays. They try to find a place that's close by instead of like sending them all the way out to Sioux Falls or something like that. They try to find centers. So we actually, if we get enough interest, we could actually become one of the centers that could do it. They also provide the lunches and things like that. But if we don't have enough interest, I mean, they're just going to put it in a centralized location, so they may have to drive up to Aberdeen or something like that. But that's something that actually is covered by this. The students are responsible for driving to those things, and it actually, in the thing it says, you know, that drive is actually at their risk and everything else too. So it's not on the school for that. But, there's also a 12-hour ER. They actually get to go into the emergency room for 12 hours and actually observe and help out the emergency room and that during this thing too. So it's almost like you know, like a job shadowing type thing, but they get to see this. So they, as going with the ambulance, the emergency room, they get to do that in like Sioux Falls or something. And I'll tell you what, when I went through paramedic school, I was in Sioux Falls all the time. The stuff that you see there is just amazing. I mean, you just be amazed what you see. So it really is a great program. Like I said, I wish I had the flyer for you guys tonight, but I'm just trying to sit there.
There's actually one in the hallway if you want.
Well,
I could
that's all right. Let's just open up. Gentlemen, do you have any questions for Chad while we have him here?
Is this more hands-on than online?
This is actually, so the classroom itself is actually online, so they're gonna be doing it online through their computer.
Local here, they would do it online?
Yes.
In school?
In our building.
Yep.
During school.
Is there a minimum number that we would need to have?
My understanding from Travis is that there's not a minimum.
Okay.
You know, if one's interested, we can try and do it. It's just how many books we have to order.
Is it 9 weeks, semester? Any idea?
That one I'm not able to answer, I'm sorry.
I had, when I was teaching, we had an EMT program similar to this in Woburn at the hospital, and it allowed students there to do something, just what Chad is talking about here. And now their person who is in your spot was one of the students who took that.
Yeah.
Caitlin Raisler, I don't know if you know.
Yeah, I do know Caitlin actually, because she just took over for Chuck Hanson.
There's a need, and this is an opportunity. I'd say we do it.
I think that since I've had a chance to speak with Chad, he's been very active. I've been very impressed with the information he's put together. Every time that I've called him with a question, you've gotten back to me with a good answer, and I appreciate everything also. I know that Jim has been working from the school's perspective to get this lined up. I think that if we can have 1, 2, 3, I don't care what the number is, every person that we can have trained in first aid, CPR, EMT is a plus, because you just never know when accidents or situations are going to present themselves. It's a home run for our community. I see numerous of our graduating seniors over the past few years wanting to be nurses, physical therapists, or whatever the medical field may be, and again, I think this is a great opportunity for them. I wanted to have Chad come in tonight so that the community could get aware of it more. Hopefully, the RNF can help us out a little bit on that one, and Bearcat TV, obviously. But if we need to make this an action item, we can do so in December. If individuals in the community have questions, I would encourage them to hit us up so that we know if there's any issues. But otherwise, unless I hear any objection from the board, I think this is something we're gonna probably wanna move forward with. Are we in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we got for Chad? Because I know you've got a meeting you're supposed to be at also.
Well, they actually just canceled it, so.
Oh,
They said
perfect.
the roads were getting slippery, so there's guys coming from all over the place, and they did cancel that, but, you know, like I said, I do think this is gonna be something that's really good for you guys. This isn't just for, the kids are doing it here, but, just so you guys know, they also have programs if any of you guys are interested in this. The state's providing free EMT classes to adults on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and
We volunteer Larry for everything on this.
Right.
So I bet I can get 4 votes right now, and Larry's already signed up.
People here, I just throw it in really quick, because I'm like, you know, even though I'd love to see the schools there, I'm just looking for anybody that would really want to do this class. I mean, we've got quite a few people on the ambulance right now, and but like I said, it's always nice to have more. So, but that's basically it. Like I said, I do have.
Can you leave your phone number for the group in case they have questions? I can call you.
Yeah, so actually I will. So my office number, if you want it, is pretty simple. It's just 345-0911, and pretty simple for the ambulance. And if you guys want my cell phone, like I said, I'll take phone calls. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm used to getting up at that time anyway. So my cell phone is going to be 605-252-0522. And like I said, I'd love to have you answer any questions you might have. Like I said, I actually wish I had the flyer tonight, but Travis Spears' number's on it. He's the one that's spearheading it. If you have a question, I mean, he would actually be really the one that could answer it a lot better than I could.
And we have that information here at school. I don't have it, but Chelsea Larson has his number. So.
Yeah, and it sounds like Chelsea actually just had a phone conversation with him just the other night. So
Okay, well, Chad, I'll tell you what, we'll put this down as an action item for our December board meeting, and let's go ahead with the idea that we're gonna move forward, letting students know that this will be a possibility for them second semester unless something pops up.
Perfect.
Okay?
Second semester and or next year.
Yeah, going forward, starting this January.
Yeah. And that actually is when it does start, is January, so.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you guys. Like I said, it was good meeting all of you guys. Yep.
All right, our next public communication is Ms. Haig, and you only have to have 5 volunteers for the EMT program in order for your group to move forward. So if you can find your 5, we'll figure that out. Come on up and tell us what you got, ladies. And there's 5 of you here. Wouldn't that make it just so nice and easy? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Ella Haig, and I'm currently a junior at Webster High School. This past fall, there has been some interest within a group of girls to play high school soccer. So on behalf of the girls, I am asking the Webster School Board to approve of a girls soccer team beginning in the fall of 2023. We held an informal meeting to gauge interest, and so far, there are 23 girls that have said they would play next season if it became a high school sport in Webster. These girls range in age from 7th grade to 11th grade. In regards to funding, I've spoken with board members of the Phyllis Hansie Fund and have completed the grant application process, but I'm just waiting to send it in until the decision gets made within the school board. It is likely that they will provide funding for uniforms and equipment. And then if you have any questions about the equipment, I have went through and filled out what we would all need, so I have an idea of what to apply for with the grant. In regards to coaching, I am exploring coaching candidates through the Webster Area Youth Soccer Association. There is a candidate who has agreed to coach, but we will continue to use the school board's guidance in search of a coach. Involvement with soccer. Having a soccer team would increase girls' involvement in school sports. For example, in the fall of 2022, there were 45 high school boys in fall sports and only 30 girls. The goal of a soccer team would be for the numbers to be more even between girls and boys. Some of the girls interested would want to stay in their current fall sports, so that wouldn't diminish numbers from the sports that we already have. I've spoken to schools around the area that have a girls' high school soccer program, and many of their students also play multiple fall sports. The plan would be to yield a JV team in the fall of 2023 and advance in the continuing years. I know that the Webster Area School District strives to provide equal opportunities to everyone in our school. The addition of a girls' soccer team would help to balance out fall athletic participation between the boys and girls. The hope for this team is to provide more opportunities and better our school. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Tons of them. First of all, good job.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah, gentlemen, go ahead and let's open it up for questions and see what we have.
That sounds pretty intimidating.
I don't know. I'll tell you this. Nice job. I will tell you, I caught a few catchphrases, so obviously you've done your homework. I like how you did saying we want to equal out the numbers between 45 and 30. Good job. Nice argument. I also like how you called us out and said the Webster Area School District likes to promote things. I don't know who gave you that sentence, but obviously a good arguer helped you out with that one. Nice job. I caught those. So let me ask, I'll just start things off. Who currently has a soccer program? And let's start off with the Northeast Conference.
Right now, Groton does for sure, and then Millbank actually started one this last year, so technically they're not, I think they started as a JV team, so they're not on the SAA website, but they did start that up. And then the rest of the teams are more towards down by Sioux Falls.
When does the season take place?
It's during the fall, but it starts earlier than the other fall sports. It starts sometime in July, and then it finishes before the rest of them finish too. So it's just a little bit earlier than the rest of the fall sports.
Is High School Athletic Association involved? Is it a sanctioned?
I have to be honest, I don't know how that works. I think some of the larger districts have a sanctioned sport and it's sponsored by the school. And I believe some of the smaller districts, it might be sanctioned, but it's more of a club sport within their community. But I don't know that for sure.
Do you know?
Yeah, it is. It's sanctioned.
It's sanctioned?
Yeah.
They have a state tournament, I suppose, in the fall then?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Okay.
What type of facility, so what facilities would you need then for?
So we would either have to paint, for just games, paint lines on the football fields, or just use what we already have for a soccer field and just repaint lines to make the field big enough for a high school girls team. And then like for goals and stuff, they're the same size as the biggest size that they already have at the soccer fields for high school girls, so we wouldn't need new goals or nets.
Is there a large enough field at the soccer field to be painted?
Well, right now there's,
mean-
like, they don't have one, but like, there's a big enough area.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Are there typically girls and boys soccer teams?
Right now Groton only has a girls team. I'm not sure what Milbank did this year, but
I mean, the state sanction, is there?
there is,
Yeah,
they have
yeah, there are girls and boys.
So, the part about, I mean, I see some of you play volleyball, run cross country. How does that work? Tell me about
So, in
the two
Groton-
sports at the same time.
In Groton, I spoke to some of the girls that do multiple. They have volleyball practice right after school, and then when that gets done, they just go to soccer. And since it gets done earlier, it's still like warm enough and light out. By the time they get done, that's not an issue with being outside that late.
What about events? Because are events going to be sanctioned by the high school?
You can have up to 14, but I'm not sure with our area how many we can get. It's something we just have to look into, I guess.
Sure.
Have you looked at any budgeting? You know, one of our other, it's one thing when we hire a coach. You know, I appreciate it that you're already looking into the cost for the uniforms and equipment. How about transportation? I mean, how many times are you traveling away? Those type of things. Do you have any idea on that?
Well, I don't know how many games we would do next year.
Do you know what Groton does?
They travel half the time and they have some home games. Yeah.
Are they playing 14 games?
I don't
Imagine.
No, they're not. Honestly, soccer there, it's a program, but the program is definitely smaller than because we're gonna probably have to have a smaller program too, just because we don't have teams. So that would be like the same situation there. They just don't have. There's not that many teams in the area, so they just kind of shorten it. Is what I've gathered from that. But
What does the schedule sort of look like? Are these mostly on Saturdays? Are they on weeknights where it could be a conflict with cross-country or volleyball? Or
We looked at the scheduling a while back, and they were on all days of the week. So I think, well, we looked at Groton's schedule, and I think they just put them wherever they could fit them in with other sports, because some of the girls there do cross-country, volleyball, and soccer. So they do a lot. So I think they just fit the games in whenever they could.
Can you open it up to other students from other schools if you don't have enough?
That would be, yeah, a good idea to like bring in people from Waubee and schools like that if you wanted.
I mean, if you didn't have the numbers?
Yeah.
What do you need for a team?
Yeah.
Like
number?
Oh,
Number-wise.
11 girls play at a time.
And the ball's round.
Okay, I got that one. Good.
They know something about it.
Gentlemen, what other questions do you have for him? Well, I'll tell you this, nice presentation. You did an excellent job. I thought it was well put together. You came in here with a lot of information and facts. I mean, I had to work to come up with questions for you, and so nicely done. I think what we have to do for the next step, how we do things on the school board is we have public communications, and then we have action items. And so if we want to take action on something, we like to give notice to the community so that people can talk, and they want to speak with Marty or one of their other representatives, they can. But what do you think? Is this something that we could put as an action item by, what's your timeline? What do you need to know?
Just hold on 1 second. Do you have any questions or concerns? Is there
I
any?
don't. I've been visiting with them for a few weeks. And so we've had open communication.
When do we need to make a decision by,
So,
from your
with
perspective?
it being a summer sport, I think we probably would have to have something in place, I would think, in December, so not a yes or no necessarily, but they're gonna, as far as the activity association, if they want it to be a sanctioned sport, we'd probably be looking at their April board meeting.
I gotta be honest, I think it's a great idea, but we need to think about this for a second, because I mean, the numbers are starting to roll up here, and I'm thinking, you know, I'm gonna spitball numbers here, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for coaching, probably double it for busing. You understand that there's some real cost here that we have to evaluate.
So that's gonna be the key thing. For us to take the next step is, we need to put together a budget. Everything that we do, every program, volleyball, basketball, football, we approve a budget on an annual basis as to, we know where our coaching is at, we know where we're at with our estimated cost for busing. Equipment, getting started, that is a big deal, and if you can get a grant for that, that's awesome. But can you start putting together that budget? And if you can get us a budget to consider at our December meeting, you know, we could put this as an action item, or worst case scenario, I think we could do it in January if that works, but that's the key step. It sounds difficult, but really it's not.
So you want a budget for like the equipment or all of it?
All
like
of
the
it.
coaching and
Yeah. And our coaching, we have a schedule as to what coaches get paid based, well, somewhat, we would have to figure out a soccer.
I can get them pointed in the right direction on that.
Can you help with that?
You can share one of the other sports.
Busing rates.
And one of the other hurdles I told them that they're probably gonna have to look at is just sustainability. You know, we don't wanna start a program,
Right, and then
3 years later, we don't have the numbers now. You know, we're not starting it's not a cross-country team or something where if you have only 2 1 year, you can still get the program going. We have to have 11 every year, and that's gonna be a challenge. I'm not saying it's impossible, but
Is the youth soccer league, is there still a lot of kids in that?
That'd be a nice number to know.
Yeah.
What's your participation, 3 through 6?
for you?
Yep.
At a really young age, I'm still on the soccer board, so I know we had over 100 kids last spring again, I think. But it's little kids. It's the up to like the kindergarten, first, second, maybe third graders. They start falling off after that in a hurry. But part of it's because we don't have a high school. They're going to go to something else because there isn't a high school option.
A lot of kids, they go and do the high school sports, so if you have soccer as high school sports, then we lose less kids than we do with just our.
Which we want you to know, I mean, while we may be supportive of this, we're also supportive of cross-country. We're also supportive of volleyball. We don't want to pick winners and losers. We want to be supportive, as you said in your speech, of everything and encouraging things. So if you can get us an idea of what the numbers are, 3rd through 6th, and maybe get even some information as to what parents or, kids have an idea. And have you spoken with the other, like with your volleyball coaches and your cross-country coaches about this yet?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm confident our athletic director will take care of that. But, it'd be good just for us to have more information on that.
Okay, yeah.
You really can't give us too much information. You've done a great job, but I don't have a problem with at least keeping this on track so that, next month we can have it as an action item, and if we need to, we take action. Worst case, we table it and we move it into January if we have more questions, if that sounds all right with you guys.
Are they
I think January
required?
would still be cool. I'm sorry.
Are they required to have so many matches? I mean, as
Well,
far as
so, and I had to print off and find some information on soccer. There is a transition program you can do through the state too, and it's a 5-year transition to get to a full-fledged varsity program, sanctioned. The whole thing is, just like Ella was saying, it's kind of like the JV for a number of years. Now, if you, let's say you knock it out of the park and you have the numbers and you want to go varsity right away, you can opt out of that. But there is, again, like that transition where you can kind of ease into it to make sure it is going to be sustainable, viable 5 years from now or whatever.
so if they had 2 games or 6 games, whatever.
Yes, you could do whatever. At that, with that transition, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, you can do as many or as few as you want.
Well, I think we're pretty pretty much in agreement. We like the idea. Excellent presentation. See if you can get us some more information, and plan on coming back in. Definitely plan on being back here in December, and we'll put you down as an action item. That means you get to stay for a longer part of the meeting. Matter of fact, we might put you last just so you have to hang through the whole meeting and learn a lot about your school district. Or we'll put you first and be nice. We'll see how things go. But appreciate you coming. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good job.
Really nice job.
I think Tom learned something from you guys. Did you notice how he volunteered Marty to field the public's questions?
Yeah, that's right. I want to know who helped, which one of you guys wrote that one, because I was impressed with that. You have to let me know on the side, all right?
Okay.
Nicely done. Good. Yeah, well written statements in there, putting you on your toes. All right, any other public communications? See you, ladies.
See ya.
Conflicts disclosure. None. Well, conflicts disclosure, just what we're going to be doing from now on with all of our claims. Since we have the construction going on with the school, I'm going to call for 2 motions on the claims. First motion will be all claims with the exception of anything to do with the CTE project. And then we'll have a second motion for just the CTE project claims. That way Joel, since he's a subcontractor on the project, can abstain from the first. Okay. Motion to approve the minutes of our regular board meeting of October 11th.
So moved.
Thanks, Joel. Second.
Second.
Thanks, Marty. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the financial statements.
So moved.
Thanks, Larry. Second.
Second.
Thanks, Joel. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the claims with the exception of any CTE project items.
So moved.
Joel first, second. Larry, discussion. I didn't have any issues with the claims this month. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the claims as to the CTE project.
So moved.
Thank you, Marty. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Larry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to accept the resignation of Taya Leonova,
So moved.
cheer advisor. Thank you, Joel.
Second.
Second, Aaron. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the resignation of Athena Snaza, paraprofessional.
Moved.
Thank you, Aaron. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve supplemental budget 2-11-23.
So moved.
Thank you, Larry. Second, Joel. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the resolution contained within our board pack.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Discussion. It's on page 21, I believe.
So this is a resolution that was provided as a sample from the Associated School Boards regarding our social studies standards at the state level. Whether or not you agree with this, that's fine. You guys can vote it down. I thought that it would be good for us as a board, as a school district, to take action on either supporting it or not supporting it. I will tell you that my experience going to the first hearing in Aberdeen, probably about 6 weeks ago, I think the second hearing is coming up anytime within the next week or two. I'm just going to be totally honest. It really brought forth some concerns that I did not have prior to that particular meeting, that hearing. Now, I did have concerns as a superintendent with some of the, I would say, the age or the grade level of the standards. And I think I've mentioned here at our meetings that some of the samples that they provide for things that you can do for social studies standards are suggestions, and they list an entire list of, you could talk about all of these people in history on one particular standard. That does not mean you have to teach all of those people. It's, you can pick and choose from them in order to meet that particular standard. We've discussed things like that. My experience at that hearing, there were quite a few people on both sides of the spectrum. I would say that my stance on it now, if you want to know what it is, and if you don't want to know what it is, I'm still going to tell you. I would say that I think as a state, it's disappointing in the manner in which this was handled. I don't know per se if it's the standards themselves that are really the issue, but a matter of the process. I just don't think there's the buy-in, and will be the buy-in by educators in South Dakota, simply due to the process. Here's my understanding. It goes back to 2019, 2020, maybe 21. They started this process, actually it would have to be farther than 21. They started this process with an in-state committee that had a number of educators in South Dakota on the committee. I don't know what happened to that process, but somehow it got cut short and ended, and then it's turned into, I don't even know where this, I look at Nathan because he's a social studies teacher, and we've had some conversation. He was actually at the meeting as well, and he may disagree with me, that's fine. But we have an out-of-state university, some person that's from that university that's kind of heading up all of these standards. And the question that I would have is, do we not have enough intelligence and expertise in South Dakota to be able to come up with social studies standards that would fit national standards and state standards? And I would go further, one more step is the rebuttal that was allowed by a Northern State University professor. Don't know his name, and I'll be publicly honest, I don't care what his name is. I don't know why his rebuttal was allowed. Most everybody was given about 3 to 5 minutes to speak, and I mean, they cut him off, cut him off, cut him off. And when it was all said and done, he got to speak for some half hour, 35 minutes. In essence, how I felt it was talking down South Dakotans and our ability to think for ourselves. And maybe that's a totally different perception than what he was portraying. But I really was disappointed in my alma mater, personally, and I was disappointed at the Department of Ed or whoever allowed that. I really don't think that did anything positive in the sense of buy-in from educators in South Dakota when you basically demean most of the educators in South Dakota who disagree with them. So that's where I stand on it. I think, personally, we should go back to the original process and use experts in South Dakota and come up with standards that we believe for ourselves are appropriate. Now, you guys can vote it down. I won't be offended, but that's where I stand on it.
All right, gentlemen. Comments?
They more or less support your view, the school board, in there as far as going out of state to come up with standards, whatever.
The Association of South Dakota School Boards.
I'll be honest, I didn't even read the justifications at the Associated School Boards. This is just my own doing with what I observed in Aberdeen. I was really
not word for word with you, but
I was disappointed in the process, and still am.
So did your opinion change a little bit after the meeting? I mean, as far as, because it seemed to me you were a little more, can I say, had a little more positive thought about it going into the meeting than what I'm hearing now.
I would say a bit of both. There were some things that I learned about standards and I went, I like those. I like that idea. I think this is good. There were some arguments certainly that I absolutely agreed with. But then there were some others that I was just like, I just don't know where we're headed with these particular standards. I would say this too, that when it comes to standards, no matter what you approve, you're going to have folks in and out of education that are going to agree with it and some that are going to absolutely disagree with that, no matter what you put together. And that's why I'm more passionate about the process. I'm a little disappointed and feel a little bit like we just were kind of, sort of degraded as South Dakotans. And again, that's my perception. That may be not what he said, that might not be anything that anybody said, but that was sort of my perception. I really felt like we really didn't have a lot of value in our own people in South Dakota.
When was the last time the standards were revised?
2015, I think.
7 years ago. How many years do you think it takes to get proficient with a new set of standards?
You ever? I mean,
it's an ongoing thing, and then if it gets, it's like you just get good at it, and then all of a sudden here comes a new batch, and then you got to totally adjust so much, and it takes several years to get it tweaked right. So now it's, I shouldn't say several, but it takes a few years to get it tweaked and to get it better and better and better, and then all of a sudden here comes a new set of rules that you got to abide by.
and there was Webster area educators, part of that in 2015. Nancy Block was, I went down to Chamberlain too, on behalf of my previous school also, and there was very good, prominent educators that were part of that process, and I liked the way those standards turned out, and I agree with Dr. Block. I think this was kind of a slap in the face to South Dakota educators for not taking their expertise on this, and I think it was out of Michigan or something like that. They hired this kind of what I looked at as kind of a cookie cutter form of standards. It was rigorous. I mean, it is, and I think that part is good. I mean, I could agree, yeah, maybe we could challenge our kids a little bit more than what we do, but not to the point where they're discouraged about it.
Didn't they replace the committee that originally started with this, which had South Dakota educators, and they were replaced with out of state?
I would say this one more time too, is I just felt like I had to feel less than intelligent because I didn't agree with it. Especially with that professor from Northern. I really thought, what is this? Why do we have a professor from Northern State University chastising any South Dakotan and any educator that does not agree with these standards? I thought it was ridiculous personally. I don't know the guy, but again, it was a disappointment for me.
John Schaaf is his name. He's a political science professor at Northern.
And as you said, I think you had he sounds like he's probably a very good professor. I'm not going to take that away from him, but I don't understand what he was trying to prove with his rebuttal.
Well, you know, I don't get as a 51. I learned history from Lowell Winga, and I loved it. It's probably where I really got into history, and I got a major in history in college and a major in political science in college, and probably shouldn't use the word got, but probably degrades SDSU a little bit, but I received, and I feel like I can go toe-to-toe with anybody, and I feel like I can go back and Brent Buki was a teacher here, and Randy Hofer, I believe, was a teacher here. Randy Perner. I mean, I can go down the list of individuals, and I think that we have here teaching, government. Besides, we've already mentioned Mr. Bloom, but we also have Adam Mines. And year after year, I hear from our students how much they enjoy learning from Adam Mines. I kind of don't like the idea that they don't take into consideration local control. And that's what the state of South Dakota's prided themselves on since day one. Every time we go to a South Dakota school board meeting, and every time you do something in the legislature, matter of fact, when they don't want to give you money, don't worry, it's local control. Well, now I guess it's not. So with that being said, that's one of the things that would probably weigh heavily in mind, is that if we're not going to take into consideration the individuals that are teaching you here, I mean, shouldn't we take into consideration the contractors that, if they're building roads here, the South Dakota contractors? If we've got businesses here, we talk to our people. So that part kind of bothers me.
If they don't change it to these new standards, does it just stay the way it was, or are they going to do different?
I'm going to say that's a little bit of a loaded question, and I'll be absolutely candid. They're either going to ramrod them through, and we'll have those standards, and we'll live with them, and we'll do whatever we can to meet them. Our educators do that all the time, and I think they do an excellent job at that. Or they may turn a little bit here and say, okay, let's maybe look at this process and see if we can't come up with a little bit more inclusion of experts in South Dakota. I think that's our two options, but.
I get the feeling we shouldn't support this resolution.
I don't know, I was okay with supporting it.
I think we should support it.
I'm not sure what I understand fully on supporting and not supporting it.
I think it's just a resolution.
The resolution states that we do not support
The current process.
the
current
current
standards.
process.
The goal should be.
Am I missing something
No, it
here?
says the goal should be a third proposed set of standards as a compromise between the first two social studies content standards proposals. That's its final sentence.
Dr. Block, am I missing something there? I think a yes vote here would say that
Yeah, I
we do
guess
not support.
A yes vote would support this resolution, which states that they do not support
Correct.
the current drive towards the standards that have been written by folks outside of South Dakota. And there are people from South Dakota that have participated. So we need to be clear on that this isn't just an out-of-state thing, because there are some folks that have participated that are from South Dakota, and educators, and quality people.
And I would make a motion to support this resolution.
Okay, Larry, since we've already got it on there, Larry's saying he supports. Joel?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Marty? Aaron?
Yes.
Yes. 5-0 carries. All right. Motion we're gonna move on. Motion to declare, thank you, Dr. Block. To approve, I wanna make sure I got my contracts right here. Just 1 second. Okay. And these are individual, correct? Okay. Motion to approve a contract amendment with Devin Peterson, junior high boys basketball coach.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve Adam Mines as junior high girls basketball coach.
So moved.
Thank you, Marty. Second, was that Aaron?
Yeah.
Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve Nathan Bloom as junior high girls basketball coach.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second.
Okay.
Thank you, Aaron. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve Danette Evenson, food service.
So move.
Thank you, Larry. Second, Marty. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve Abby Carlson as cheer coach.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second, Larry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve Whitney Keller Reitz, paraprofessional.
So moved.
Thank you, Marty. Second?
Second.
Second, Aaron. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, motion to declare surplus property as per Rodney Freeman, our school attorney. The east half of the northwest quarter of section 26, township 120 north, range 56 west of the 5th PM, Day County, South Dakota, except lot H1.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Aaron, or Marty, or Larry. I'll get it eventually. Eventually we can get through the whole group. Discussion. Hey, this is the same thing we've talked about, just Rodney Freeman wants us to make another motion. I've seen the deed. We can get that signed. It's the exact same thing we talked about last month.
Puts an end to it.
It should put an end to it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That's the only surplus property, correct?
Yes, but there's one more motion, number 2.
Motion to authorize Lori to execute the deed conveying the property to the successors in interest of the original grantors.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. Motion to approve a change in driver's ed instructor pay. Thank you, Larry. Second. Thank you, Aaron. Discussion. So let's get right to the point here. Cal is requesting a pay increase from $27.50 an hour to $30 per hour. Personally, I think it is what it is. That's what the market is, and we need a driver's ed instructor, and he does a great job at it, and I think we need to make this happen. And we still charge, don't we, for taking driver's ed?
Yeah.
So we'll just have to...
$235, I think it is.
It's an offset.
We'll have to figure out how to make it work, correct?
Right.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Is he working at Ron Colley?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I might vote no. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, motion to approve change order number 1. This, yeah, thanks, Larry. This is an easy one. Second. Thank you, Aaron. Discussion. Gentlemen, it's minus. The change order is actually a minus net. What was the number, Lori?
387.
Correct, $387.
It's a minus $387. Looks like a no-brainer to me. When do you get change orders where it's a minus to the net?
Very rarely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Very
this is good. Larry, any problems?
Something's coming this way.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to modify the return to school plan.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Discussion. What do we got, Jim?
So I do not have a copy of it with you, so if you're not comfortable approving it without actually seeing a copy, that's fine, we could do it in December. But I will tell you this, I've got a pretty long list, not long, but I've got a list of the things that we've changed. I shared it with the administration, the office staff, as well as with Heather Gaikowski regarding what our current plan is. I had highlighted some things before I gave them copies of it, and these are the things that I was looking at. I wanted to eliminate anything that was in the plan that we were pretty much no longer doing, because I didn't want it in there and then people say, well, you're supposed to be doing this and you're not doing it. Our filters for our HVAC system are not being replaced more often than they were before COVID. So we're back to doing that a couple times per year. That's one item. Our water fountains have all been reinstated so that water fountains are working. We did just have the bottle fillers turned on, and it was per request this last fall. I'm not sure why we didn't actually turn them all on this last summer, but we had quite a few requests of can we turn them back on from staff, parents, students. So those are back on. That's going to be eliminated. Cleaning of certain items, playground equipment in between recesses, PE equipment in between classes. We're not sanitizing those as often as we were when we were in the midst of COVID. Same thing with desks. So those are some of the things that have changed. There's nothing really significant to change with respect to what we're doing for if somebody tests positive for COVID or if there's close contacts. It's pretty generally stated in our plan that we follow the most recent CDC guidelines and local health facility recommendations. So what we're currently doing, this is our practice, but it's not written in our plan. What we're currently doing is if you test positive for COVID, we expect that you stay home for 5 days, and then if you're fever-free, you can come back after on the 6th day. That's the extent of our program, and that's what we did for probably half of last year, and we've done all of this year. If you remember, they relaxed a lot of the COVID restrictions and the close contact and the contact tracing. All of that stuff really was eliminated already last year. The wording is there that we follow guidelines, but those guidelines aren't specific in our plans. So there's really nothing in there that I'm concerned about being in there if we eliminate these items. Do you have any questions?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right.
That was faster than I thought.
You bet. Keep her going. Motion to accept the snow removal bid that we tabled from last month, and I said, why would we need snow removal before our next school board meeting? I'm sure there won't be snow.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah, way to go, Sands. All right, do I got a motion to approve that?
Yes.
Thank you. Marty, second. Aaron, discussion.
No changes?
Jim, go ahead and tell
Yes.
us what happened.
We had our custodians meet with
Blake?
it's like my name's gonna. And so we talked about what we had for expectations, and Blake is a little bit concerned about what we have for a need when it comes to cleaning the sidewalks. Not because he can't do it, he doesn't have the equipment to do it. The manpower is what it comes down to. Manpower and time. And so really having a conversation with our custodians, we had our entire custodial staff there with him. I thought it was a good thing to do, and we probably need to do it on an annual basis, just to get together and say, these are the things that I can do. There's some areas that we were cleaning out with even with our tractor snow blower, and he just said, I don't know why you guys have been doing that. I can come in there and pull that out of there in about 10 minutes with my equipment. And they're like, well, that would really save us some time. So we had good conversation. He will be kind of on call when it comes to the cleaning of the sidewalks, and that's going to be more with the heavy snows. We have a piece of equipment where we can have the sweeper and the snow blower interchanged within 20 minutes. And so we can deal with those. If it's a sweeping situation, they'll put the sweeper on and clean them pretty quickly. If it's where they need to use the blower, they can do that. And then if we get some really heavy snow, normally when we get the really heavy snow, I'm going to call off school anyway, or we're going to be out of school for enough time for them to have time to clean things up. But we don't want him digging out a ridiculous amount with smaller equipment. We want him to use his larger equipment to even clean off some of our sidewalks. And so I think we're good to go. And it's going to be, I don't know what's the best wording for it. It's going to be kind of an on-call type thing. So if he does it, it's based on an hourly rate or whatever our contract is.
But it sounds to me like we did get somewhere, we got some relief.
Oh, absolutely. I believe we do.
Good.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve open enrollment number something.
One?
No, oh no, it's.
Just one, every
It's
open
just
enrollment
one.
is just one student.
But it's just a number.
And this is
Right.
just a student that is here, moving out of the district that wants to continue to go here.
Okay.
Thank you, Aaron. Second. Thank you, Joel. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Superintendent report, Dr. Block.
First thing I have is a sample, well, it's not a sample, it's actually a thank you that's written by Riley Ash. The FFA chapter writes thank yous to a lot of the local patrons and companies that they deal with their CDE contest, CDE, I'm not sure what that stands for, but, and this is what he wrote. I thought it was worthy of sharing with you. I appreciate the time you have taken to support the Webster FFA chapter. Throughout my time this year practicing for the Webster Range contest, I have learned a lot. Looking at the variety of plants and what they have done to better our environment has been enjoyable. One grass, blue stem, has done a lot to help better the South Dakota prairie by building the soil. Another part I have enjoyed is the sites. I have learned how different soils have different capacities for production. We thank you for the time you've donated in supporting the Webster FFA chapter. Without people like you, opportunities for students to learn about the crucial part of agriculture plays in our world. Students of the world we live in should have the skills acquired through range judging and other FFA opportunities. Range plays a crucial role in continuing regenerative agriculture. I thank you for your time and hope that you continue to assist the FFA in making opportunities for students. Now, Mr. Zank has students write these types of thank yous and send them out to, like I said, all of the entities that help provide the opportunities for the CDE contest. We host one every year where there's quite a few other schools that come. So I thought that was worthy of sharing. The Veterans Day program was last Friday. We did have a late start. We were 1 hour late, so we moved our Veterans program back a half hour. It was suggested to me to try to get information put out on the community site. As I understand it, is it through the sheriff's department? I'm not sure if they do like announcements versus alerts, and so I wasn't able to get that in place in time. I wasn't too concerned about it in the sense that we were actually starting at 9:30 originally and moved it to 10. I figured they'll be there on time. Some of them might be there a little bit early and kind of hang out. So we had a nice crowd. The students that participated in the band, the choir, the poems for the 5th graders, kindergarten sang with our choir, and the 3 high school seniors that read their essays. I thought they did a great job. Very thorough essays, in my opinion. And then we had Jeff Nelson, our local VSO, speak. This is his first year back in Webster, and I think he did a really nice job. Had a nice message for how his life was kind of changed by people who impacted him when he was in high school, and kind of convinced him to go into the military, which turned out to be a career for him and still continues to be a career. So it was a nice program. As always, I get lots of people coming up and thanking me. I really don't do much other than we coordinate it, and we get the program put together, but it really comes down to our teachers for the poems, the essays, and those preparing our music kits. And it's a nice program for our kids and our community, and I think the veterans truly do appreciate it. So, the next item that I have is the calendar. I do have copies for the board. I didn't make copies for anybody else. I will put together a draft for the December meeting. This is last year's calendar, just so you have a copy of last year's. And what I would ask you to do is look at the calendar if there was anything that had kind of an angst with this year. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Not now, but by next month. I will be putting the draft together before next month's meeting. I always try to get some input from the staff. We try to provide them a copy of the draft before it's actually approved. So you've got that copy. Take a look at it. If there's anything that you have for suggestions, you've heard stuff out in the public with respect to any vacation days, non-vacation days, hopeful vacation days, whatever you can find out, let me know. And minimally, I can put it together so that I'm considering those things within the draft, and then we can have a little bit better discussion for it next month. We have historically done this in December. Sometimes it's approved in December, sometimes it's in January. I think the earlier the better. But we have had to edit it in some years too. I think last year's, if you look, this one I think was edited in, this one was edited in April. I don't have that listed on here, and I can't remember what it was, but I do recall it being edited in April for some dates. I think it might have been the northern state dates in our in-service. And then in June, we made the final edits. I think there were some, I didn't have the correct dates in September for homecoming or something like that I made for the last ones. Any questions or comments regarding the calendar?
Seems like we just did it yesterday.
Yeah.
Lori's the one that reminded me. She goes, I hate to tell you this, but we're kind of coming around. You got to look at the calendar again. I said, you know what? I'll put it on here so it's discussion this month, and we'll look at a draft next month.
I heard a lot of good things about this year's calendar with the start date. Way more good things this year on that.
I'll be honest, for me it's easy. I just go by what we had the previous year, and then whoever screams at me the loudest gets what they want. I don't know.
But we did move it back.
We did
this year, and I think that was a good thing.
Yep.
Yeah, keep in mind, we did have some comments from the staff about parent-teacher conferences, but I don't know if you have that on there yet.
I've got those in. We've talked about parent-teacher conferences. I really wish we could find a better method, but one of the things about the parent-teacher conferences is that it really is probably better to have some sort of an in-service day thereafter, the very next day. I know a lot of school districts do have either a comp day or a vacation day the following day after conferences. Maybe not in the spring as much as in the fall, but that is something you see. Some of them, and we have a little bit of a debate in-house. I think the elementary would prefer to have conferences closer to the end of the quarter. It's not as significant to them to try to, get kids to get their butts going the last 3 weeks of the quarter for the secondary, where the secondary likes to have it, about 2-3 weeks before the end of the quarter, because if you have parent-teacher conferences the night before the quarter ends, or the night that the quarter ends, it's a little late to have those conferences. I would say that I don't know that that's as important anymore when, honestly, parents have access to the grades almost instantaneously. I mean, as soon as a teacher upgrades them, they've got it. They have it 24/7. And so that's why I kind of question where the conferences are, when we schedule them. They have great success in the elementary and great participation rates in the elementary, but we're not seeing that at the middle school and high school level. So,
can we limit online access to try to encourage? I know. Hey, I know it. I'll say it.
That was Joel Shoemaker's idea. For the record, please put that in.
You're darn right, and I'll own it. Let's limit the online stuff and make the kids accountable, and let the parents come to conferences and learn what the children are doing.
There's some merit in that, I suppose.
It would have been good if my mom would have known what my grades were at a certain point in
Yeah.
my life. There's a reason why you
Better
could
build
plan.
character.
Yeah, I built character, all right. All right, keep going, Dr. Block. We're on a slippery slope here,
There was
Joel.
one other thing. I thought we had a positive meeting with Wabe and the CTE. I don't know if you want to mention that.
Actually, yeah, I don't have that in my notes, but that's a great thing to bring up.
We met with them and they were encouraged, and their administration was going to look at adding, and they thought they could add students, where in the past they were under the impression that they were unable to. And so I think something's going to develop, along those lines.
Just quick background, we met with them regarding the agreement that we have with Wabe as to how much they pay for their students to participate in all of our CTE programs. And the CTE is not just Bo Larson's program, it's also ag, it's our FACS program, multimedia program. Seems like there's one more. I'm not sure. And the reality is, we told them, this isn't just CTE. If you've got a kid over there that wants to come and participate in our pre-calculus class, and you don't offer pre-calculus over there, I mean, why would we deny them on that? We have an agreement for them to come over for classes. We try to make it work. They had the understanding that it was only last block, and the reality is, yeah, the reality is, we said, you know what, we realize that it's probably best for you to be here last block because you have some travel that you got to coordinate, and first block would work fine for us too. I think they were a bit surprised that we said, we don't care when you come over.
Right.
Whatever.
There was some
your schedule and our schedule.
Great meeting.
Yeah. So their hope is to increase the number of Wabe high school students coming over here, minimally in our career and tech ed programs, and then look at other options. So. The next thing that I have is the school improvement plan for accreditation. Working on that. Accreditation review isn't until April, and so I believe by the 1st of March I'm going to have everything uploaded for that accreditation review. And it is a desk audit. I'll be honest, I feel like I probably have been a little bit more stressed about it than I need to be, but it's just one of those things that's been hanging over my head until I finally start uploading that stuff and get it put in place. It doesn't help that I know some fellow superintendents that had to have everything in by November 1st for December 1st to review either, because I'm getting to hear some of the frustrations that they've had with some of the things that they need to upload and turn in. So, but we're moving forward with that. We also have the school improvement plan, which I would let him discuss a little bit more with respect to our targeted assistance with the elementary and the middle school. So unless you have any questions for me, I think that's all I have for my report.
Any questions for Dr. Block? Well, that's eminent. All right, Mr. Case, principal report.
Yeah, I'll just take off from Dr. Block with the comprehensive needs assessment. I think I said at the last meeting we had two ladies, Marge and Becky, come from Department of Ed. So they came last week. They wanted us to have two focus groups. So I had a focus group, elementary, middle school teacher, and then we had a high school focus group. So they took some time and had some questions that they asked, of the teachers, particularly with curriculum, learning, lesson plans, things like that. So what they're going to do is they're going to gather that data, take their answers, and then, they also met with Dr. Block and myself, and then they had 10, 11 questions also for us. And then one thing I wasn't really aware of that they were going to do, they said they were going to pop into a couple of classes. Well, I think they went around to a lot of the classes just to see what learning is going on in the classes. And then also some of your kids might have mentioned this too that were in class. They asked a bunch of the kids a bunch of questions too. So what the ladies will do is they'll take all that information and then gather the data and then I think get back to us and then just let us know what the next step is for comprehensive needs assessment. I know we have a Zoom session. It's not with all the teachers, it's just with our group administrators. I think it's coming up in second week of December or first week of December. So again, it's all new to us, so we're kind of learning as we go in the process also. So there will be more to come with that also. We have a motivational speaker, Corey Greenwood, coming in November 22nd. He's out of Minnesota, so probably a good guy. And I've spoken to a few other schools around here, and they said they'd recommend him. He does a good job. He talks about character, being a good person, how to battle through tough things. So I kind of look forward to seeing him. So he'll meet with grades 3 through 6 right away in the morning, starting at 8:45, and then he'll spend, I think, about 45 minutes with that group, and then he'll spend a little bit more time with the high school kids, the middle school and the high school kids, grades 7 through 12. So that's about what we have happening. Questions?
Okay. Anything else for Mr. Case? Thank you, Mr. Case. NESC.
I wasn't able to attend the meetings.
I have to be honest, I haven't been able to attend them for a couple of months. I did go to the superintendent's meeting, but it was a very, very brief meeting. There was nothing too lengthy on it.
Okay. Buildings and grounds.
Okay, I was just like, I want to talk about some other things besides the upcoming capital outlay projects that I have listed on here. We got two of them. The K through 12 camera system. If you recall, I brought forth some quotes. I think it was sometime in June or July, maybe it was August, from Safe and Secure. That is the company that we have historically gone with for our camera systems, and they also do our security door systems. Now, one of the things about our CTE building is they're doing rough-ins for where the cameras can go, but the cameras themselves are not part of the project. So we will need to purchase the cameras that will go into there. And if you recall, we have our old system and possibly some new cameras, and we have to kind of marry those two together to work. And I don't have the quotes in front of me, and the quotes are no longer good anyway. But I think that was about $65,000. And then the other quote was to do something where we completely replaced our system with an IP camera system that would be in, I want to say, in the ballpark range of about $80,000 to $90,000. We waited to do anything with this because we wanted to see if there was any grants available that might come up. The folks at Safe and Secure were not aware of any Homeland Security grants or any security grants. So we did not come across any that we were aware of. The Homeland Security grants that do exist, like for Dade County, and some of you may not, Tom, you might know this, I don't know. It basically is a certain amount of money that comes to Dade County, and that money has to kind of be shared between the Wabash School District, the Webster School District, and possibly the Sheriff's Department. It just depends on which projects are prioritized, and then it's really not a sizable amount of money. I don't know what the total amount is that comes to Dade County, but even if we got all of it, it probably would be a very, very small fraction of the price of replacing all of our cameras. So I guess what I'm saying is there's not a lot out there that we're aware of for grants, and therefore we kind of need to move forward with a decision. I don't know how soon we have to make the decision, but when we start looking at installing the cameras into this new CTE program or CTE facility and installing our others, we have to have this in our budget for capital outlay. So I'm just letting you know in November that come March or April, that's going to be a sizable amount of our capital outlay budget if we want to have a full K-12 camera system that's IP. They can marry the two together, and we can spend about $60,000. And again, these numbers are not set in stone anymore because the quotes are no longer good. So we'll see how much. I'll keep the old quotes. We'll get an idea of how much the increase is when we get new quotes too. So I wanted you to be aware of that. Then the other one I will talk a little bit about, and I might actually have Nathan mention it. So when we installed our track in 2015, I recall, and I mentioned it to him a few weeks ago, I said, I recall that we need to do something with the track surface 8-10 years into it. Well, we're there. And so he contacted the company that put it in place, and it's Midwest Track. I do have the quote. Do you mind if I?
No quote.
He actually contacted them and asked them, well, what is it that we're supposed to do in this time span of the 8 to 10 years after it's been installed? And it's another top layer. I don't know if you have specifics on what it does.
I think it's if they put this second application on it, I think it makes it last a good deal longer. I'm not familiar with it. I've never had to deal with really any track things before, but it sounds like they definitely recommend it. Otherwise, the track could deteriorate pretty rapidly.
And here's my recollection, and I'd have to go back and look at notes. I did go back to find the information from Midwest, and it actually said 7 to 9 years is what it was, but we're at 8, I think, this year. My understanding was the life expectancy of the track with just the way it is right now, and we didn't do anything in years 7 to 10, you'd be looking at 14 to 18 years. If you, and then you'd be replacing it completely, like probably going down to the asphalt and then replacing it. Where if you do this, you're going to get an additional 6 or 8 years out of it than what you would without. The price is about $90,000. So,
when do we have to know that?
I'm sorry to give you this great news in November, but these are all important things to have in mind when we're putting together a capital outlay budget, especially in light of the fact that we will be finishing a CTE facility, and there's going to be some additional capital outlay costs that I would assume are going to come from that as well. Things like the retaining wall, there will be other things.
With that track, would they have to do it all at once? Could they come one year and do a little bit and then come back the next year, or it's all?
I'm guessing it's a slurry seal over the top, kind of like a chip seal on a highway, some maintenance. I'm just curious, was the board at that time made aware of these cost of ownership items?
Yes.
I recall these. Yeah,
It was
discussed.
estimated 10,000 a year.
Okay.
Would be
And
9 years.
I wasn't on then, but
I think on the contract, you have to have at least 6-foot fence around the whole thing. I mean, it's a pretty intense project for them. They have to keep the public off it, which is going to be kind of challenging, but I think we've got to seriously think about it. life on with.
When do we have to know by?
These prices here are only good for 45 days, and this was November 3rd, so I just asked him to get information, so we have
If we
some.
put it in the 23-24 budget, it could be done in the spring, summer of 24. It's either that or we wait till the next budget year.
At 45 days.
We'd still be within the range,
You
yes.
accept it in 45 days?
Is there?
No, we didn't ask for this so that we would make a decision in 45 days. We asked for this so you'd have some
Just so we
idea
can
of
estimate.
a ballpark figure.
I know, but they say the price is good for 45 days. Well, if you were to accept that they certainly aren't going to be doing it for a year from now.
Well, our soonest opportunity to do it would be in the next year's budget, the 23-24, and you could do it in August.
Yeah, what I'm getting at is those prices that they say are good 45 days,
Yeah.
they won't be.
All right, well, good information. Let's start doing our homework. And we also find out where, if that track group has any more donations coming to us. If they do, they don't.
I don't believe so. I mean, somebody was in last week and made a comment about, but the person that's been sending me the money, I believe that account has been closed. So I don't think there's any more money, but I will double check with her.
Could you check?
Sure.
Okay. Anything else on buildings and grounds?
Well, the boiler and CTE project, updating on that. We just had a construction meeting this morning. Bricklayer is supposed to be coming within the next week to 2 weeks. I think materials should be here this week. I'm looking at Joel and Larry to correct me if I'm wrong. Joists are supposed to be here by Friday. The other structural beams and columns, the steel structural beams and column, are supposed to be coming by December 5th. My understanding is that they want these walls up as soon as possible, the brick walls for the classroom portion, because the structural beams and columns need to go up and can't be sitting around for too long, or shouldn't be sitting around too long. So they'd like to get those things up so they can get a roof on it and start heating it and working on the inside. So they are pouring, they poured one of the precast walls.
Interior walls.
Interior walls. And then we had a sample that was brought to us today of the outside precast walls. That's actually sitting outside here by underneath that window right there. To give us an idea of what it looks like. It is not an exact match, which we weren't going for, but it seems to complement the current building that we have right now. And they'll be building those, or pouring those, to be complete by February. Although Jack, I don't know how many times he says, you can have those done by Tuesday. Done by Tuesday. And so that's where we're at. And then the only other question that we had was the change order this morning, which you guys just approved this evening. So,
Did you hear on that grant or anything?
the grant we will not hear on until they'll announce the winners and the losers, whatever you want to call it, on December 1st. And both parties would be notified. So
They're going to start the studding tomorrow, steel studs, aren't they?
Yes.
That's what Jack said. So. And the boiler's working.
boilers are quiet and they're working. We have had some snafus with the whole system, but it's not been the boilers. It's been a pump that apparently tripped on Friday evening or something, and it wasn't working yesterday morning. So when we arrived, some of the high school classrooms are at 55 to 60 degrees, which is not really all that great. So what happens when that occurs, either Mr. Case or I go into the system and shut down all of the fans so it's not pulling in more cold air. And typically if it's in that 60-degree range, within an hour's worth of time, you're going to see 65 degrees when you start filling up the classrooms with bodies. And so it's still, 65 is still a little bit too cold. Eric is the person that we talked to from Johnson Controls, who does all the remote work for us if Craig and I can't do it. He is now aware of that particular pump, the new pump that he was not aware of. He says, I know what to look for in the future if you're having these difficulties. So I believe it'll be a lot smoother situation if we have difficulties.
Okay, anything else on buildings and grounds?
I don't believe so.
All right. Thank you. Motion to move into executive session as to legal.
So move.
Thank you, Joel. Second.